What's going on? What's going on? Man, one more day. It's almost fight night. Well, today they had the weigh-in, and them boys ready to go. So definitely excited. Can't wait for the match tomorrow. But before we get into that, what I want to talk about is one thing that's kind of was mentioned from the Earl Spence side, which was, he believes that even if he comes in, he doesn't have to be 100%. That even at 70%, that he can beat Danny Garcia. So the question I'm putting out there is that, can he really do it? If Earl Spence was at 70%, would he be able to beat Danny Garcia? And my answer to that is people need to put respect on that boy's name. People need to put respect on Danny Garcia's name. I could understand if this was a situation where Danny Garcia was having matches where he was just overwhelmed. He was getting destroyed. He was getting beat by lopsided margins. But that's not what's happening with him. He's had certain bouts that obviously he has lost twice. He lost to Keith Thurman and he lost to Shawn Porter. But in both those fights, they were very, very, very close fights. A lot of people actually believe that some people believe that he actually beat, Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? The Shawn Porter fight was also a fight that was very, very, very close. He could have easily won both of these. He could easily be an undefeated unified champion he could be an undefeated unified champion that's facing Earl Spence right now for undisputed. He could easily be that. It's just that, he got the short end of the stick. But they weren't any kind of landslide victories. There were also matches where it's not like these two guys went in there and said, I'm just going to beat the brakes off of Danny Garcia. I'm just going to mop the floor off with him and stop him. No, it's like, I need to be very, very careful. Okay, I know this guy's a little bit slow. He's a little bit flat-footed. So I need to move. I need to box and I need to move. Because if I slip up and I get caught, that's it. I'm going to be done. And I get hurt, I'm going to be in a world of trouble. They understood that. So through the whole matches, both of them had to completely stay on their P's and their Q's. They could not afford to make a mistake in that fight. Because if they made that mistake in that fight, it would be the beginning of the end of them as it pertains to that match. And they understood that. So because of that, they fought a certain way. You see Shawn Porter the way he fought Earl Spence. Did you see him fight Danny Garcia like that? Hell no. He boxed and he moved. He did not want to engage with Danny Garcia in that fashion at all. Wanted zero part of fighting like that with Danny Garcia. Because if he did so, things could have ended very drastically and very abruptly. And not in a good way for him. So he said, hell no, I'm going to box and I'm going to move. I'm going to box and I'm going to move. And this way of fighting is what's going to give me this victory. And he did that. He squeaked it out. Keith Thurman squeaked it out. And that was both of those guys pretty much at 100%. Now, when it comes to Earl Spence, we saw the fight that he had with Shawn Porter. It's a very close fight. The reason he probably won that fight was the fact that he got that knockdown against Shawn Porter. In a very, very close fight. We see him also get hit with certain shots. Obviously, he ate those shots and he kept moving, but he got hit with heavy shots. But he kept moving, and he was able to tough through it and get that one shot that he needed, that kind of bumped him up another level and got him the victory in a very close fight. He did beat Mikey Garcia. Yes, he got the victory. But he didn't, he's not like he bulldozed Mikey Garcia in any way. Even someone like a Tank Davis, you can't fight the way Mikey fought. You can't fight like that against a Tank Davis. Because Tank Davis is going to break you down and he's going to stop you. Just like he did, just like he did Gamboa. You can do all this, hands up, keep tight. He's going to break you down from the body. He also did the same thing with, with Santa Cruz. Just go into the body, break that body up, and then go up top and stop you. Earl Spence didn't do that to Mikey Garcia. He was coming up in weight. Because this is the thing. Earl Spence is better than everybody. when it comes to the 147-pound weight division, I believe that Errol Spence is the best fighter at 147 pounds. But it's not this huge, giant gap. It's not. It's a small gap. It's a small gap where if he comes on point, if he's focused, if he does everything that he's supposed to do, he'll beat these guys. But if he slips up and he's not necessarily 100%, he's not doing everything that he's supposed to be doing, he can lose easily to any one of those guys. You know? Even the best of the best better make sure they're at the absolute, physically at the peak of what they can be. I understand people have injuries, things of that nature. They have to make sure that the absolute peak that they can be at. Because if they don't, they can have problems. Imagine Floyd Mayweather wasn't 100% against Maidana. He needed everything to win that fight. Everything. A 70% Floyd Mayweather would not have won that fight. He needed to be at his greatest, and he wasn't that particular night. Because, like I always say, those great fighters like that, they're not necessarily going to lose to the top dudes. All of a sudden, going to be this guy who just has a great night, and you're not ready. He's going to F you up, and you're going to lose. That's what usually happens. But he was ready for it because he trains like he doesn't have a penny in his pocket, regardless of who he's facing. He could be facing some baby that's going to be born, and after it's born, he's going to fight him right after it's born. He's going to train like he doesn't have a penny in his pocket. And that baby was getting knocked out in 2-3 seconds. That's just what it is. So when it comes to something like a Danny Garcia, 70% ain't going to cut it. 75% ain't going to cut it. 80% isn't going to cut it. You better be at the peak performance. You better be at your absolute best when you come into the ring with that guy. Because if you don't, you're going to pay. You're going to get hurt. You're going to lose that match. And it might be in a very drastic way. In a very drastic, painful way. So me personally, I'm going to have to call bullish on that. That man, he looked like he's 100% ready. He made weight easy. Looks in phenomenal shape. I think this is the best I've seen him look in a long time. This is the best Errol Spence I've seen physically in a long time. And that's what he needs to be in order to become victorious tomorrow night. Danny Garcia looks in phenomenal shape as well. And when he hydrates, he's going to be huge. That's what I also saw from that weigh-in. Danny Garcia is going to be huge. But we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I'm excited. I can't wait. And we'll see what happens. But put respect on that man's name. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.